Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Honorable Minister has given us a lengthy introduction, and in that introduction, like any government of the day would, has highlighted the achievements of this government in setting up institutes, has highlighted that they must be made into institutes of excellence. But I have to say that in any democracy, while the Treasury bench is bound to highlight the positives of any policy or any ministry, we owe it to the nation as a member of the opposition to point out the challenges of that very ministry, of that very field. I think the entire House will agree that education is the backbone of this country. Technology and technological capabilities will be the backbone of this country. And today I congratulate the people of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh that I am sure a long pending dream is being fulfilled. And I hope that these two institutes that are being recognized by way of these amendments as institutes of national importance will help not just those states, Deputy Speaker, sir, but I realize, coming from a parliamentary constituency in Assam, Kachar, where we have an NIT, that when a good institution comes up in any state, in any part of the country, I would say that students or children or people who want higher technical education, the entire nation benefits, because we can go and take admission in the other states of the country. So these two institutes, I hope in the future, will become an asset not just for the states of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, but I hope for the entire nation. Honorable Minister has very carefully and meticulously told us that what are the criteria for admission to these institutes, what are the basic science courses that will be held in these institutes, and what he aspires these institutes will grow into. I feel compelled to point out that in the recent media reports, the problems that these two institutes have been facing in the past after the decision of the Cabinet to declare them as institutes of national importance must be highlighted on the floor of the House. And I would like to state that in Odisha, I am sure that the Member of Parliament from there would agree with me that connectivity is a problem there, sir, in Brahmapur, like Mahatab ji said. And there is a demand there that the nearest airstrip, which was built during the British time, must be upgraded and updated so that access to this world-class institution that we are all dreaming of, has access to the rest of India. Apart from that, many local newspapers in Odisha and Times of India has reported that there is a 11-kilometer road that connects that airport to the campus, and a DPR must be immediately made and that road given so that it is proper use of national resources of the country, which we all would agree is an important aspect. Apart from that, sir, I would like to point out that the admissions for research programs was delayed by a year in the Tirupati Institute, whether it was physics, chemistry, biology or mathematics. Apart from that, several vacancies for the positions of professors and associate professors have emerged in the Tirupati Institute. I hope Honorable Minister will take interest in that and solve that problem. Sir, I am bound to say that the excellence of an institute, especially a technical institute, and institutes like NIT, IIT and IISERs, is their research work. That what is their innovation and what is their contribution in the area of innovation and research. Flowing from that, I would request Honorable Minister that neither of these two IISERs in Tirupati or Odisha have doctoral degrees or postdoctoral fellowships. So if we really want these institutes in the next 5 years or 6 years to grow into institutes of excellence, this is something we have to facilitate in these two institutes. Coming from the Northeast states, an Honorable Minister has only encouraged me to say it more emphatically in the floor of the House. Sir, आपने look east policy कहा, मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. बाकी मंत्री भी हमेशा लुक ईस्ट पॉलिसी या एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी की बात करते हैं. मैं ये कहूंगी कि 2015 के बजट में जेटली जी ने एक प्रपोजल दिया था कि नागालैंड में एक IISER को इसी तरह से इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस का रिकग्निशन दिया जाएगा. पर अभी जो देखने में आ रहा है कि इसका ना कोई कैबिनेट अप्रूवल है और इस बिल में भी इस इंस्टीट्यूट का नागालैंड में कोई जिक्र नहीं है. और मैंने जो मीडिया में देखा है कि नागालैंड की सरकार कह रही है कि हमें IISER को ना इंक्लूड करके वहां पर एक आर्किटेक्चर स्कूल की उन्होंने मांग की है. मैं आशा करती हूं कि आप जब अपना रिप्लाई इस सदन में देंगे, जब जवाब देंगे कि इसका क्या हुआ और नागालैंड के लिए क्या हम उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि इन द फ्यूचर हमको वो SPA नागालैंड में मिलेगा. ऑनरेबल डेप्यूटी स्पीकर सर, there is a huge need, or there is an increasing need, not just to emphasize on opening new institutions and declaring new institutions as institutions of national importance, but what I would be worrying about if I was sitting in the position of Honorable HRD Minister is the challenges that these institutions face, Deputy Speaker sir. Today we have seen that the problems, whether it is IIT, whether it is NIT, whether it is IITs, all of them have a certain generic nature of problems, and together if we don't focus on those problems, I feel we may not be able to solve it. Therefore, I choose today not to criticize the government or the workings of the government. It's a happy day for Odisha and Andhra Pradesh, but to be fair to several institutes in this country who are facing difficulties, I would like to raise certain important issues. So first of all, the skills that we equip our engineers or students who go to these institutes of excellence and institutes of technology, the question is, do they fit the job market? Like, do they fit the job market? अगर देखा जाए तो देश में 3,300 इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस हैं, डेप्यूटी स्पीकर सर, और 14 लाख से ऊपर इंजीनियरिंग सीट्स आर अवेलेबल, डेप्यूटी स्पीकर सर. But the question is that when these students pass out of these engineering colleges, what is their level of employability? Today we talk about demographic dividend. Today India boasts about its demographic dividend, and if we don't convert this dividend into an asset, then I feel that we are actually wasting another important national resource, which is our youth dividend. So, Deputy Speaker sir, in 1981 there was a time when there were only 20,000 admissions in a year. Today that has gone to 14.7 lakh seats all over India, whether it is government institutions or private institutions. But the question is this an opportunity for the youth? Because a recent AICT report has stated, and I am sure Honorable Minister is aware because I have read that the government is planning to take this report very seriously, that out of 8 lakh engineers passing out every year, 5 lakh remain unemployed, sir. So the question is, where is it we are going wrong? Despite passing these bills, these significant bills, in trying to create institutions of excellence, that our engineers are remaining unemployed. Further, the even dismal situation to my mind is only 1% of those students participate in summer internships. I am very happy to see that IIT Delhi has done some out-of-the-box thinking, and they have told their students that they need not go for a summer internship, but to promote entrepreneurship, you can do an independent project. But having said that, today only 15% of the 3,300 engineering institutions have been accredited by the National Board of Accreditation. So if these are the figures, is it enough for us as a nation to simply create institutions? It is not. Because what these institutions will actually give to the nation has to turn out into an asset if we want India as a country to beat other nations with a technological edge. I would like to say, sir, that often we hear in this house about how well the state of Gujarat is doing, and I would not like to undermine the performance of a state like Gujarat, but sometimes I ask myself, Deputy Speaker sir, when we praise a state too much and over again, do we as a natural consequence of that ignore some of the problems that may be facing? And by way of that, something directly relevant to the HRD minister, and without undermining the performance of Gujarat as a state, I would like to point out that in 2014-15, 47 of the students who passed out engineering found placements on their campuses across engineering colleges in the country. The figure in Gujarat is only 26%. 74% had to fend for themselves, and when they did find a placement, their annual income was less than 2 lakhs per annum. And I would like to state that the amount of enrollment in engineering colleges in Gujarat has fallen by 22%. So if we really want to hail the Gujarat model, I hope the HRD minister will look into this aspect. I am happy to say that MHRD is taking the AICT report very seriously, and they are planning some reforms and have they set themselves certain targets that by 2022 50% of the programs shall be accredited by the NBA, and if there is no progress, then approval will be refused, is one of the steps the ministry is trying to take. Sir, all of us as members of this house are aware of the Kakodar committee reports on IIT and NITs. I am sure that the Honorable HRD Minister will take these into consideration and will implement them, because this committee was actually set up during the tenure of Javadekar ji's predecessor, and I am sure it is part of the record. Sir, North East, आपने North East के बारे में कहा, मैं यही कहूँगी कि I am happy to see that the World Bank has given $201.50 US as a part of the Technical Education Quality Improvement Project, which we commonly call TEQIP Phase 3. And I am even happier to see, Deputy Speaker sir, that World Bank country director in India has specifically said that this funding will concentrate on equitable distribution of skills across India, and with the focus on underperforming states. And I'm even more elated to see that in this list all the northeastern states have found place apart from Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Andaman and Nicobar. So I will request the Honorable Minister that the biggest challenge of these institutes are capacity building, sir. Today the faculties of IIT, the faculties of NIT, the faculties of other engineering institute, unless they synergize, unless they increase collaboration in teaching, I feel that we may not be able to give our students in this institute the kind of technological know-how, the kind of exposure which is competitive with the world at large, may not be possible without this. Apart from that, sir, I have to bring to the notice of the House that World Bank is saying that the demand for intake, Deputy Speaker sir, is going up every year. So it has actually gone up by 16.5% annually between 2006-07 and 2013-14. Now look at the anomaly. On the one hand, I am talking about unemployability of engineers and technicians who are coming out. On the other hand, World Bank is saying that there is a growing demand for engineers. Therefore, I think therefore, although this is a small bill and the message we have to take from here, Deputy Speaker sir, कि इंस्टीट्यूट तो खोलना है, उन पे पैसे की भी कमी नहीं है, माननीय मंत्री जी ने कहा है, पर उस इंस्टीट्यूट से जो बच्चे पढ़ के निकलते हैं, डिस्पाइट द ग्रोइंग डिमांड as per the World Bank for engineers, why are our children not getting that job?
Syllabus are old syllabus, still we are following. That is the problem. That is why. Right.
Achha, Deputy Speaker has 2 engineering colleges. Okay. Sir, briefly, I met Mr. Javadekar ji last year, sir, with a very, I would say, a very heartbreaking problem. And the heartbreaking problem was that last year 3,195 seats fell vacant, whether it is NIT, IIT, IIT and these institutes. And despite the fact, engineering college, which is a huge waste of national resources, sir. I had met you. And it is my request that JOSA को बनाए हुए अभी काफी वक्त हो गया है. अगर JOSA के बनाने के बाद भी हम वैकेंसी को भर नहीं पा रहे इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में, तो शायद जोसा के वर्किंग में फिर परिवर्तन लाने की जरूरत है. एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट सर थ्रू यू द ऑफिसर्स ऑफ योर डिपार्टमेंट दैट समटाइम्स आई फील they didn't emphasize enough, because my experience with you whenever I have worked with you is I have never seen you saying no. आप जब एनवायरमेंट मिनिस्टर थे आपने मदद की हमको महासड़क में, बट आई फेल्ट दैट despite the fact that it was in the knowledge of the department and JOSA and CSAB कि 20 जुलाई 2016 में 6 राउंड्स के बाद क्या वैकेंसी थी और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का निर्देश है कि 15 अगस्त से पहले इसको फिल करना है. हम 20 जुलाई से लेकर 15 अगस्त तक आपका डिपार्टमेंट क्या कर रहा था? आप तब नए मंत्री बने थे. So that's why today I am not saying anything to you. I have great respect for you, but I am sad to say that people in your department did not apprise you properly, because of which we actually lost huge amount of resources. और मैं आपसे ये निवेदन करती हूँ सर कि मैं आपको बता नहीं सकती कि भारतवर्ष के इतने कोने से बच्चे मेरे पास आए. मैं खुद सुप्रीम कोर्ट गई. Supreme Court did not issue notice in that petition, but I can tell you, sir, that Supreme Court judges were not happy with the action replay of what has happened in the past. Where there is a problem, there is a solution. We have solved many problems in the past, and I hope that this problem will be solved by Honorable Minister and it will not repeat itself. और मैं आपसे उस वक्त आने से पहले जरूर आके मिलूंगी और याद दिलाऊंगी कि ऐसा फिर से ना हो. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.